Hey guys, it's postboxpat and welcome back to a new video. And most of you guys know I do Minecraft content, but I'm a massive Star Wars fan and have been since a little kid. So today I'm going to be covering the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer and going into depth about it. But if you haven't seen the trailer already, the first couple of minutes is going to be the trailer playing. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and here you are.
I've waited 30 years for this. I still remember my last orders. The day the real war began.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist. We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
We avenge our Emperor.
Resistance. Rebellion. You will burn these ideas away.
Hope cannot save them!
Oh my god guys, so that was the trailer. That was absolutely insane. What an amazing trailer that was. Now for this next part of the video, I'm going to slow down the trailer up to the bit where you see the Death Star go boom. So this first 50% or first half of the video, should I say, is going to be about that. So let's get straight into it. And as you can see, this first scene here in the trailer, you can see the TIE fighters flying away from kind of like a snowy background. This reminds me of the actual Death Star from The Force Awakens, because you've got the newer version of the Stormtroopers there, and also you've got the TIE fighters kind of flying away from a base that you actually saw back in the Death Star, or like, should I say, The Force Awakens, the Death Star in The Force Awakens. But yeah, on screen now, you've got the next part now. This is like the main new character. I believe her name is Iden Versio, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. But as you can see, there's a ship there. I believe that's her ship coming out of hyperspace, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but I can pretty much predict it is. Now, if you look carefully, you can see the Death Star fully built in the background there, but if you look in the next screenshot, it's kind of already broken, which reminds me of the Death Star from The Return of the Jedi. And also you'll see the next scene now set on Endor when the actual Death Star goes boom. This is actually the one from Return of the Jedi, I believe is, anyway, because in Return of the Jedi, obviously they're on Endor and they're like killing all the Ewoks and things like that afterwards that we don't see. Obviously Han and Leia probably have left Endor by now, and this is them coming into Endor to finish them off, or maybe a fight that's currently going on in Endor, elsewhere in Endor, while they're trying to like fight off that we don't see in the film. And there you go, the Death Star goes boom, and they're just stood there and they're a bit confused what to do. Now that's really it for that scene. But also this makes me feel like the campaign is going to be set all the way from the Clone Wars, the original one, the Phantom Menace, all the way up to the Clone Wars, through the Clone Wars, through the Rebellion, all that middle section between the New Hope and Return of the Jedi, all the way to the Last Jedi, which is the current film, which would be absolutely amazing if the campaign is set in that era. So if the campaign was set all the way from episode 1 all the way to the current episode, which is out this Christmas, The Last Jedi, that would be absolutely amazing for a single player campaign. Who knows how many missions there'd be, we don't actually know, but if that was the case, I'd assume there'd be maybe at least 7 hours, 12 hours of mission gameplay. Are they going to put that much into it? Maybe not. They may do it as DLC. They may go in like a weird order. They might start around The New Hope or start around The Return of the Jedi and then bring DLC out to go back. Who knows exactly what they're going to do. But if the campaign is like that, that'd be amazing. Now, there is no evidence in the trailer that the campaign is going to be like that, because towards the end of the trailer it kind of focuses on the multiplayer stuff. However, there is a little bit of evidence on their website, which I will talk about towards the end of the video. So this next bit is actually the second part of the trailer, which I'm going to be talking about. You can see there's a little bit of a space type scene there with a TIE fighter, with the special forces, which is that girl. She's actually classed as a special force soldier, which is absolutely cool and crazy. But you can see in this scene, it's more about like the spacey stuff, which you can see in the campaign most likely. Imagine like space battles, like a campaign type thing, like following, like taking out rebels and things like that. That's the sort of thing I can see in this area, in my opinion. Because you can see here, you've got the Millennium Falcon. They're chasing it down with 2 TIE fighters. I can imagine that being some sort of campaign mission. Obviously, you're playing as the Empire or the Special Unit Force in the campaign rather than the Rebels. There may be a Rebel campaign, but we don't know. We also see that soldier get blown up there. I actually at first thought that was a clone trooper, but it's definitely not. It's definitely a Rebel soldier. I did look into that a little bit more. In this next scene here, we see Iden actually reporting back to some sort of Emperor's Guard or red type of Sith Lord. I'm not 100% sure who that is exactly. If any of you guys out there watching this video know who that is, feel free to comment down below. I have no idea at all who that is she's reporting back to, but feel free to comment down below if you've got any idea. It could be Snoke, could be Kylo Ren, it could be Darth Vader, it could be just an Emperor's Guard. Who knows what it could be or who it could be? We don't exactly know, but if you guys comment down below, you guys may know. I don't actually know personally, but if you do know, feel free to comment down below. Now we see Iden actually pointing a gun towards Luke Skywalker. Now, who knows exactly what this could be? Could this be where Luke spares her and she becomes good? Who knows, because in the next scene, you do actually see her shouting at some stormtroopers, kind of like commanding them. Maybe she's saying like, are we actually doing the right thing? Should we turn to the rebellion? Who actually knows exactly what's going to happen in this story? But you can clearly see at some situation, either she's a hero in the multiplayer, or there is some situation in the campaign where she does meet Luke Skywalker, as you can see in this clear evidence from the trailer. Now here we see like an assault with the walkers on some sort of city. I'm not 100% sure what this city could be. It could be any city in Star Wars. It reminds me a little bit like Coruscant, but I'm probably completely well out there and completely well off. If you guys have got any idea what the planet that could be, where the stormtroopers are assaulting it with AT-ATs, who knows? But yeah, that's like looks something interesting in the story. Now this scene is crucial in my opinion. I feel like this is going to give away a lot for the story. It's a very quick scene and it is over a sand planet. I'm not 100% sure what planet that is. It's either going to be Geonosis or Tatooine. I think that's how it said, Geonosis or Tatooine, but I'm not 100% sure which one it is. But you can see this is Iden's ship. Well, we believe it's her ship flying in here, and you can see it getting shot down there with a rocket. And now you can also see a few X-Wings falling out of the ship, which looks like maybe they've been ordered to attack something or something like that. And you also notice here in this screenshot that the pilot is still in the ship, which makes me consider that with the X-Wings getting shot down and also Iden's ship, that we think is Iden's ship, speculation or theory from myself, getting both shot down, you're going to be on that sandy planet. We don't know what it is exactly, and you're going to regroup with the rebels and also some of your stormtroopers, which may be left over from the attack. You're going to regroup, probably join the rebellion. Maybe that's the scene where after you meet Luke or something like that. I don't know, maybe you meet Luke again. Who knows exactly where that's going to fit in, but it could fit in and it may happen. Again, it's only speculation from myself. I have played all of the Battlefronts, about to say Battlefield. I've played all the Battlefronts from Battlefront 1, 2 to the DS version. I think there was a one on PlayStation Vita. I think that's not PlayStation Vita, PSP it was actually called back then. So I played that as well, which was absolutely crazy. So I do know quite a lot about it, but anyway. In this bit here now we see Fight for the Galaxies. This actually kind of confirms a first person view, because you can see there's clearly first person in the TIE Fighter. We don't know if it's going to be third person though. Who knows if that could be in it. Now this scene here we just see a few different vehicles and a few different animals that may be playable in the game. We don't actually know if they're going to be playable, but again, all speculation. Hopefully there's going to be more vehicles and a little bit easier interaction with the vehicles. Yoda and Darth Maul. There isn't really too much to say about these two, but there is actually no point in the film or any of the comics that I can remember, or when I say comics, more of like the animated series type thing, where they actually meet. I do know that Maul loses his legs and he does survive. Spoiler there, he does actually survive. But if there was a scene where Yoda and Maul did meet, wouldn't Maul probably have his robotic legs? I'm not 100% sure. Again, we don't see Yoda's lightsaber in The Phantom Menace at all, so maybe this could be linked into the story, but personally, the Maul and Yoda scene, I think it's more of like a 1v1 type thing online. I don't want it to be like that. It might be, it might not. Maybe it might be a hero you can call in, a bit like the original Star Wars Battlefront, but from the trailer, it kind of points towards a 1v1 type situation. A bit like that For Honor game, which I wasn't a personally big fan of, but again, this is only speculation, and it's just a prediction, just from what we saw in that little clip on the trailer. Here we can see Rey running through a forest. We can also see a battle on Hoth kind of situation, and also a space battle with a Y-Wing and X-Wings. I'll go over that a little bit more detail right now. So you can clearly see that Rey is running here in some sort of kind of like more of like a tropical type environment, like Scarif or something like that. We're not 100% sure what that is. You can also see the Tauntauns or the Tauntauns, whatever they're called, from Hoth, like the camel type creatures being rode, which could basically mean they could be introduced to a Hoth type online multiplayer situation, which would be really awesome. Maybe an attack on a base or something like that. Then we can also see a Y-Wing type of space battle gameplay going on here with a huge fight going on in the sky. Now, considering that we don't know a lot about the multiplayer yet, we can kind of speculate what the multiplayer could be. With the idea of Rey running in an environment that we've never seen before, this could basically mean that you can play as Rey and Hero on a variety of maps, maybe with Hoth as well, seeing that sort of situation with the camel type dinos, whatever you want to call them, the Tartars, or however they're pronounced. I don't know exactly the Tauntauns. I don't know exactly how to pronounce them, but they look like camels basically, and hand rides one in the film. You can imagine them being more of like kind of a game situation, like game changer type thing, like an ability, or like a you can just hop on, hop off, a bit like the speeder bikes, which would be really awesome. Now with the space battles, this could go on for a while. I will talk about that in a moment after I show the next clip. So Kylo Ren, yes, Kylo Ren is in this clip here using the Force on a trooper of some sort. I am not 100% sure. I will kind of predict what it could be, but it looks like Kylo Ren's in some sort of cave base or type of cave situation. I don't know exactly. Maybe he's in the Death Star where he kills a certain set character in The Force Awakens. I won't spoil that for you guys if you haven't seen The Force Awakens, but I suppose most of you probably have. But it looks like he's in the Death Star there in like a cave in the planet of the Death Star in The Force Awakens. Now that soldier on the floor, it does look like a bit of a rebel soldier, but it also looks like an Imperial soldier. I'm not 100% sure. You guys can predict that in the comment section below. Now, not just that though, but other than that, with the Kylo Ren scene, we can see that's clearly obvious, but let's take a little look at this advertisement poster type thing that they used at the end of their video. You can clearly see they've got Darth Maul, the lead clone trooper, which is the main character in the campaign, or the Empire, or whatever you want to call the type of trooper, is Specialist Trooper, Empire Troop, whatever you want to call it. And then you've got Rey on the left there. So you've got Darth Maul, Rey, and the lead campaign role. Now, using them to advertise is pretty cool, the way they use Darth Maul, which could hint towards a droid aspect. And I will go over the multiplayer stuff in a moment with the droids and things like that. But using them to advertise is a very clever idea. But who knows if they're going to be the main aspect of the game? We don't exactly know. So let's talk a little bit more about the multiplayer. Now, everything I'm about to say is all personal preference and what I believe from previous experiences with previous multiplayer titles. I've played online games or video games for a very long time, so usually what I'm saying is roughly what is going to happen, but sometimes I get it wrong, so don't take my word for it, and it is only my opinion this. You guys may completely disagree. So we've got a variety of images they actually posted on their website, which is starsbattlefront.com, Stars Battlefront 2, on the EA site. We've got a variety of images there, and I'm going to be going over a few of these which relate to what's going to come in the game. So first of all, we're going to start with this one of space battles. Now this kind of indicates the idea that there's going to be space battles, and it also indicates the numbers of players in space battles with up to 24 players over dockyards, fly across Imperial dockyards and take down massive capital ships, pilot renowned craft like the Millennium Falcon, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing in exciting dogfights of 24, wage war in spectacular space battles. Okay, so that gets the idea between asteroids and things like that. This kind of just feels a lot like the DLC that came out to Star Wars Battlefront 1 or Star Wars Battlefront the original, or I don't like saying the original, but Star Wars Battlefront for the next gen console, should I say. It just feels like basically the DLC. That doesn't indicate anything about kind of boarding other ships or anything like that, like the original Star Wars Battlefronts. But I don't like to speculate that that's just going to be like, maybe they may introduce that, they may not. 24 players, 12v12, that's reasonable, but I feel like maybe they should put some bots into it or something like that to give it a more realistic feel in space. You can clearly see in the screenshot you've got the turret shooting of ships. Who knows if that's actually going to happen? If you're going to be able to control them turrets or not, that'd be awesome, but we're not too sure on that. So let's move on from space battles and talk a little bit about multiplayer in general. Expanded multiplayer is what they use to advertise this. Join up to 40 players playing in a massive multiplayer fight in authentic locations across all areas. All sorts about that, based online, gameplay, pilot a wide variety of land and air vehicles and control iconic characters with distinct abilities that can turn the tide of battle. Very similar to the original idea, but however across all eras. So this kind of indicates all of that being put into it. but do we know exactly where it's going to be put? We can assume that Yoda and Maul will be able in this game mode. We're not 100% sure on it, but you never know. I hope it is like that, but I'm not 100% sure if that will happen. All eras, I can definitely confirm that. Well, I can't 100% confirm it, but if you look on screen right now, we can see a screenshot of a droid, which is absolutely amazing, which definitely confirms the idea of there being droids v clones. Well, hopefully with a little bit of luck. So that's what we can predict there. Now, also, you can see, if you read this carefully, it talks about customizing abilities for your hero, your troopers, and starfighter. When it says starfighter, I don't think it means by the huge star fleets and the huge fleet. I just think it means your normal ship. But if it does mean by fleets, that'd be absolutely crazy. We can also see it says basically about a powerful progression system and a diverse it, so it kind of like switches up the game a little bit, and the path to victory is yours to decide. So it kind of gets the idea of like a customization progress for each character, or maybe more like a custom class type thing for each certain player that you play. Maybe a little bit like League of Legends type thing or something like that, but you customize it before the game starts. I'm not 100% sure on that. Obviously, like League of Legends, you've got the shop and things like that. I don't know what sort of game I can kind of relate this customized to. A little bit like Plants vs Zombies. That's a very similar game to it. If you play Plants vs Zombies, you select your items from the shop before you start, and they like your set abilities, and also you can like kind of change them in the game if you want to. Again, that's up to your choice if you want to do it, but it sounds cool, and I do like the idea of the customization, so that's really awesome. Split screen co-op. Now, this is a completely different thing that I do talk about quite a lot. When games use co-op to advertise, personally, I feel like they are running out of ideas. Co-op is something that a lot of people enjoy on split screen, and the old Star Wars Battlefront did have it. They've got the idea of co-op here, and they talk about rewards, customize your troopers and heroes, and take skills and upgrades to the online battleground. So it's more of like a survival type thing, you know, with a friend offline to earn rewards that you can use online. Will it be missions? If it's missions, fair enough. I'll appreciate it and I'll like it a lot. If it's not missions and it's just like a survival type thing, honestly, co-op is dying with survival type things. I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to on some of the original games where this survival aspect comes in. But if you've got co-op missions that are only split screen or 2 players online, that would be really awesome, and especially if it was only split screen, which encourages a lot of people to play together rather than online, which would be really awesome if they did that. That would just be an amazing idea to do, and it's something unique that would be to Star Wars Battlefront. I think that would be really cool. But split screen, in my opinion, using it to advertise the game, sometimes it can be a little bit negative fall to it, but I don't want to talk too much negative about it because the game isn't actually out yet. Characters from every era, iconic heroes and villains. Again, this is a topic which we could go over for a while. You can play as and against these villains, which is really awesome, as it says there, but also they're from every era, which it clearly states that there's going to be more. So there's going to be more than just this, so maybe at E3 or something like that, we may see a variety, which would be absolutely awesome if we start seeing heroes like Mace Windu, Count Dooku, people like that. That would be absolutely amazing. It also goes on about the abilities again, and it's your classic characters bring their distinct powers and personality to the battle. Is it going to be more of like a hero type battle thing, which would be cool, but I'd love to see characters like Darth Maul and Yoda being put into situations like Hoth or things. I know it's not, you wouldn't actually see it happening, but it'd just be really cool to be able to see like Darth Maul appear on Hoth, or Darth Maul appear maybe in a Clone Wars battle, which you probably wouldn't see him in, but it'd just be really awesome to see something like that happen. Obviously, it's going against the Star Wars lore and the Star Wars history, but sometimes you have to do that to have maybe more enjoyment on the multiplayer history, or like not the multiplayer history, but the multiplayer online games would be really awesome. So yeah, something like that would just be absolutely awesome, and I think something like that would really make the game unique and have that extra push to it and that extra feel, which could advertise it pretty well and also make the copies sell pretty well. Again, I don't like comparing this game, but Star Wars Battlefront is a very similar title to what happened to Titanfall. Titanfall 1, great game, a lot of people went off it very quick. Star Wars Battlefront 1, a lot of people played it and went off it very quick. Titanfall 2, not many sales at all. Definitely a better game than Titanfall 1, however, it was not established as a better game because hardly anyone bought it. Star Wars is probably not going to be that way because it's a giant franchise, but could it be not as successful as the first one? Potentially, yes. But if they get it right at E3 and the right advertisement and the right stuff, it's got potential. And so far, it has got potential, just depending on how the game modes are brought up and see what they're basically like. We need some demonstrations, more trailers. Obviously, this is only the first trailer, and again, this is all my opinion. So this final screenshot is about single player, and this clearly confirms that the story itself is going to span the whole 30 years, and it also says about him encountering a variety of characters, from a betrayal type story and a revenge type story, which is really awesome. So that kind of considers the idea of me talking about before. Revenge for the Emperor, fails the revenge, betrayal, betrays the Emperor, and joins the rebellion. Again, that's only my prediction, and yeah, it'd be really awesome to see that happening in the story. She's going to meet a variety of characters, could start all the way from the Clone Wars, or maybe the Phantom Menace with Darth Maul, all the way up to The Last Jedi. So that kind of confirms that, hopefully, 30 years spam. Not 100% sure if that's going to happen or not. We've got a variety of eras which could be set in. It could be set in more of the Clone Wars, could be set in the mid-era around the New Hope and that, could be set more around Empire Strikes Back. Who knows where it's going to be set? Anywhere between all of these, The Force Awakens, any of them, we don't know. It says 30 years. I hope it is set a variety and it's all equal, how much campaign missions there are, but we don't know 100%. But that's going to be it for this video. I've really spent a lot of time editing this video together and considering the trailers, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it a lot. Again, I mainly do Minecraft content, but I'm hoping to start doing some Star Wars content, or maybe create another channel just for Star Wars. I've been a massive fan of Star Wars since a young kid, so I've loved making this video, and it's been really enjoyable to talk about Star Wars for 20 minutes and show you guys this stuff. But if you have stayed all the way to the end, I really do appreciate that, and I'd love it if you stayed for future videos. And if you are interested in seeing more Star Wars content, please comment down below, because I love doing these sort of videos, and it's just different from my Minecraft content, so I really enjoyed doing it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to stick around for the channel, hit the subscribe button. And once again, this is postboxpat, signing out.